Start this recording and get started. So, welcome and blessed Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 24th. My name is Myra Ferreira. I'm an executive sales director with this incredible program and platform, and I'm here in service to you all, just wanting to as well contribute. We are part of an amazing team and truly a life transforming effort, right? This is a family ship. This is, of course, a business partnership, but as well, we are able to flourish in relationships that, in my opinion, compare to nothing that's out there. So with this core rank training sessions, understand we're doing these Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. They are coordinated with a team of the leaders, just wanting to help to reinforce the foundation, something a little bit in addition to the training we have as far as presenting this information, as far as sharing this opportunity with clients who need the services, as well as those additional folks like us that are looking to increase their streams of income. So the intention behind these core rank training sessions is to just complement your thought process. You know, the truth is, what you think up here will directly translate not only into the success you have throughout life in all aspects, but also in your paycheck. So if anyone could go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat if you're really in this game because you're looking to win big, if you know you've just gotten started touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to your success, go ahead and type a 1 in the chat so I can see who else is engaging and present and listening. Okay, I see that. What's going on? Awesome, awesome. I appreciate it. So on that note, today's core rank, which I have the pleasure and honor to go ahead and serve you all, I'm not using any slides, so just be mindful to hear and receive this information, but I strongly encourage that you take down some notes. And what I'd like to share with you is a little bit about who I am and my journey so far, so you can have to get to know me, but also so you can understand what life experiences have brought me to the mental state that I'm at right now. So by background, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a New York native, born and raised in Long Island. I'm actually first generation born in the States, extremely proud to be Latina. And I'll tell you that we know life does not offer us a manual. We end up learning about what's important and a lot of times the most significant life lessons as we go through experiences. And many times it's our challenges. Like they say, we have to fail our way forward through life. So I'm a proud mother of 4 children, but I'm a teen mom, which means I had my first child at 15. And what that forced me to do was step into the role of responsibility and being a provider very early on in life. I'm extremely grateful for that, though. To tell you the truth, it's because of my children that I'm always driven and motivated to just move forward in my progress, continuing to strive for growth and improvement, seeing however else I can just be more for them. So if you're a parent, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I know that's something very relatable. And after finding myself with multiple jobs in New York, caught in that rat race, and being offered the opportunity to move to Tampa, Florida, just broadened my mindset. When I think back to those original days, there was one point where my parents always had Florida on their map, right? They always intended to move and retire to Florida. I would tell them at a very young age, you guys can leave me here. I'm never leaving New York. It's fine. I'll take care of the house. And actually, I ended up beating both of them and moving down to Tampa, Florida in 2004, where I'm actually residing and presenting to you from this evening. And really, it opened up my mind. You have to understand, if you think you can or you think you can't, that could be the opening or the closing of the doors for the next level of where you could take yourself. So I started out working on an entry-level position in healthcare. And I was never challenged with the ability of working. I believed in hard work. You know, who else believes in working hard that actually pays off, right? Type a 1 in the chat if you could see the value in working hard, right? What this platform allows us to do is working a lot smarter, right? Because you can work hard and end up being burnt out. But if you find a way to work smarter, there's much more rewards when it comes to that type of ability and opportunity. So that's what I thank this platform for. Now, I never learned about credit and finance prior to this program. Most times people learn about the importance of having credit if they realize they don't have the credit that will get them approved for what they want or what they need. And understanding that your 3-digit credit score is going to determine your 5-digit zip code is super duper powerful. But again, as far as the program and opportunity, I learned about it at a time I had just gotten a denial. My 15-year record of having worked in the same place as far as employment and securing my income didn't matter. I had a vehicle that broke down in 2017. And as a single parent at the time, head of my household, I needed a reliable vehicle. So I went to a dealership, clueless as to the way credit works, received a response of denial because of a 504 credit score, and I was stuck. Now I had already had a friendship with our senior vice president, Mr. Xavier Marrero, who we all should know, and we definitely have an appreciation for him. I consider him my brother from another mother. And he blessed me with a solution to a problem that created a roadblock for me, which was the protection plan. I got started with the process, was able to see tremendous results. I had 15 items deleted in my first round of dispute letters. And within 4 months, I had an increase of 210 points, putting me in the 714 scoring. So with that increase, I was actually able to go to a dealership, not only get approved, but drive off the lot with a 0 down payment for my vehicle at the time. Now, I'll never forget that feeling. That feeling directly contributed towards my decision in witnessing and seeing. I knew Xavier had a movement going on. I always knew him to be hardworking and a go-getter, as we've seen and known him to be. Always passionate about something and once he makes a decision, he's gonna get that done. So I was inspired to take a leap of faith forward. I had the experience before of living a lifestyle of paycheck to paycheck. So I was paid by Friday, broke by Saturday. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can relate. And I was leading in that role as a divorced parent, feeling like I was the absentee mom and dad. So the biggest weight on my heart and the biggest emotional stress for me was where I did the whole 8 hours plus a day. And for my children, I was constantly saying no. Either I couldn't say yes because I couldn't afford what they asked for, or I was saying no because I had to put work first as a provider versus putting my heart and my children and my desire to do what I wanted to with my time. So thanks to this opportunity, I was able to completely change that. Since 2018, I was able to resign as an employee and focus on building a business. And thanks to this platform, that's what I'm able to design my life around. Right now, I always say my only boss is my schedule. So whatever I've committed myself to do, that's, again, my commitment, which is very different. I've been able to plan a lifestyle around that and also just be that more of a participant in the things that matter significantly for me. But today I want to actually review 3 key points in regards to posture, energy, and edification, and how they can relate to your business. There was posture, as we all know, there's more than one definition, but when it comes to this particular industry, it's not specifically in the way that you stand or the way that you sit, although we all should aim to have good posture. Posture has everything to do with the confidence you have as far as what you are presenting and what you're sharing, right? So when we look up the definition as far as posture, first, of course, is how you could sit or how you could stand. But in this industry, it's a particular way of dealing with or considering something. And it's an approach. It has to do with your attitude. So it has to do with the way that you think of things. And when it comes to posture and having the correct posture, you need to think about the confidence that our leaders have when they're presenting, when they're sharing this information, or even when they're introducing someone new to this information, as well as the other factor I mentioned in terms of energy, right? So energy never goes away. Energy is simply transferred. So when it comes to sharing this information and really working towards creating the business and lifestyle you want for yourself, you need to make the conscious decision of how you channel your energy. Has anybody been cut off if they're driving in the street on the road and have somebody just cut them off and they slam on their brakes and they can go from 0 in their mind and their energy, they could go from 0 to 100 real quick, right? Drop a 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you. Way back a few lifetimes ago, I actually was a courier in New York, and man, those New York drivers, right? I'm guilty of it. But that's a simple example on how you can be in your perfectly fine, mellow, or relaxed and usual state of mind, and an outside influence can trigger you and affect you. That also is true when it comes to someone you may have hoped or expected would join you in this business, and they tell you no. or they're even ignorant and actually call this a scam, or they actually expect you to fail. I need you to understand that energy is something you need to cut off completely. Do not allow that in your space of vision, in your space of emotion, and definitely do not allow that to interfere with your goals. Remembering you have no control over anything but yourself, that also applies to your frame of mind. You are the one that actually is in complete and total control when it comes to that. So again, that's energy. And then as well, edification. So what is the big deal about edification? When it comes to this program and understanding the ways it affects your business, edification is specifically the way that you can speak about something. It's the way that you can refer to something. It's the way that you can introduce someone or even this program. Now, keeping those three things in mind and on point can either make or break the way that conversation goes, right? So when it comes to our three-way calls, understanding the importance of edifying the leader that will actually help and support you on that phone call is critical. Now, edifying is defined as instructing someone in a way that enlightens them. It uplifts them either morally, spiritually, or intellectually. So as the typical host, when we do our team trainings, you can hear me introduce our leaders when they're coming up as far as the training sessions they provide. So edifying someone can determine whether or not the person you're connecting them with even cares about what that individual has to say. They can take into consideration why it matters. So it's super important to understand how to edify, and also to know a little bit of the background for whomever you place on that three-way call so that you can edify them properly. Now, edifying is not fabrication. It's not creating a false statement. It's not wishing or trying to describe someone or something as bigger or more than what it is. It's simply highlighting the value that either that individual or even this program can bring to the table. So I'll give you some examples of that. But when it comes to posture and energy and the combination of those things, you have to understand your energy is going to speak louder than anything you can say. And you need to have the right mindset and posture when you're introducing this information. So for anyone who might be new, go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat. I want to see which audience I have today. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are within your first month of being in this business. Go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat. I just want to go ahead and see as of now moving forward, if you're within your first month of getting started in this business. I see it doesn't look like it's too many individuals. Technically 1, no problem. If this is a relaunch for you as well, you qualify, go ahead. So I see 3 months in there, about a month. Okay, no problem, excellent. So when you're actually beginning or doing this launch or a relaunch, you can genuinely be excited about sharing this with people. And when you go through your list of candidates, there might be those individuals that you've known a whole entire lifetime that you truly hope and wish that they can join you on this opportunity. And then when that person tells you no, your emotions go plummeting. You actually hit that roadblock, you're shocked, you don't understand why they can't see what you see in this. They might be mean, as I was mentioning before. They might laugh at you. They might actually call this a scam. They might just think it's too good to be true. But what I want you to understand with having posture to this is that if you buy somebody else's opinion or the decision that they make for themselves, you need to also buy their lifestyle. And you may as well allow them to be the one that makes decisions for you. Now, I mean, who wants to live a life dictated by someone else, right? Not me. Put a 2 in the chat if you're independent and you know that you can make a decision for yourself, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you know you got this, right? It takes 2, but that's really you and the actions that you take, right? Awesome. Now, understanding that the most important close and the most important decision had to do with when you saw this was possible for you, not anyone else along with you. Trust and believe that many times those you think who will join you won't. And those who you think might not join you actually will. And at the end of the day, when you go through the road of growth and you're actually traveling on this journey, borrow the posture from those who have succeeded beyond a level that you're at. Borrow the success stories, borrow the experience, and borrow the professionalism or the insight and knowledge that your mentors and your leader can offer you as you grow this business. So the idea and the concept of a team is that you can rely and leverage on that effort here. So I welcome you to be sincere. People can actually smell fear on you. You know, like they say, the dogs, right? They can literally smell fear. So when it comes to introducing this information, it's okay to not know all of the details. But if you know you made a decision, you need to be confident as far as why you've made that decision. And that's also why it's so important to remember the factor that influenced you as to joining the business to begin with. You know, again, because if you know why this matters for you, the road and what it's going to take you in order to accomplish the goal is going to be worth it. It's not going to be a chore, right? So, I mean, I think we can all agree too, if you've ever had a job before, has anyone ever met an employee that became a millionaire? If you can agree that you have not, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Has anyone ever met an employee that actually became a millionaire? Yes, no? Go ahead. If you can agree, put a 1 in the chat. I see 2 people that can agree. 3 people? All right, cool. Now, recognizing that your posture is something, of course, you can work on. It's something that you can develop over time. And it's okay for those closest to you who have known you for who you are to not necessarily see you as that VP you're aspiring to be, or that EVP, or that pinnacle senior vice president you're aspiring to be. But every journey begins with the very first step, every single journey. Now, people also make decisions based on their very own limiting beliefs. So although you have been plugged in, maybe you've attended trainings, you've seen enough of this information for that decision to having locked arms, committed, enrolled, and wanting to work on your goals with this opportunity, that can't translate into someone else's mindset. You cannot give that to someone else. Now you can speak honestly and sincerely about the hopes you have and the vision you have with this opportunity and how you're going to make it possible. And that energy is what's going to actually translate into the very best message you could present to someone else. Now, as well, when it comes to the energy in this information, it has to be something you're excited about. I mean, with some vision, you can think about all the challenges you're facing. I mean, we hear testimony after testimony. When you hear like that young lady last night on our Millionaire Mindset at VP University, sharing how she went from being homeless to a sales director in a matter of weeks with this opportunity. Borrow those success stories when you're trying to help cast vision. So it's not, they can't just, people that you share this with cannot disqualify you because you're still on your journey. You know, if that makes sense, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. If that makes sense, if you get what I'm saying, right? You can borrow those success stories. And isn't it exciting? I mean, you know how many people wish they had something to look forward to? How many people get stuck in the rat race? I mean, if you've ever felt like you were just living day to day on a repeat of the day prior, if you can relate, go ahead and put a 5 in the chat if you could relate. When you feel like you're living life on autopilot, when you feel like you're just making ends meet and you're stuck, right? I mean, and I've been there, but without the change of decision, you're not going to have a difference in your end result. So again, with regards to edification and then the importance of that, you know, I want to give you some examples because a lot of people have said, you know, we're new at this, and maybe your next best support system is an agent that's also alongside with you on this journey. It might not necessarily be the EVP, or it might not necessarily be an SVP or PSVP, right? But the thing is, even that agent that's alongside you can help to support you in this team system and with regards to mentorship, and as well those 3-way calls. Now, when it comes to knowing what it takes and the actual formula to being able to edify someone, it can pretty much take about 3 things that you may know about that individual. And again, I'm just going to give you an example, and I'm going to pick on Cindy and Javier because those are 2 names that I see quickly right now. Now, let's say I am edifying Cindy to Javier. Now, I have a little bit of an advantage because I kind of know Cindy personally, but just in the example for even if you don't know someone, you don't have to tell their whole life story. But here's an example where I'm keeping it very superficial, but it should also give you an idea on how you're able to do this across the team, even as you meet other people that you just click with or other people that you can relate to. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just pick the name Javier as an example. And let's pretend that Javier is a friend of mine that I connected with on social media. I don't know much about Javier. He's a real estate professional. I see that because he put that on his profession, and he responded to an additional stream of income. But he's curious, he's just not exactly sure what this could be about. So an example on how I would be able to edify Cindy to Javier. Again, I'm going to go ahead and shoot for it. Hey, Javier, thanks for being available for our call today. I'm glad to be able to connect with you now. I'm super excited because I know we were speaking, but I was also able to get a fellow partner of mine with this opportunity to chat on the phone with you today. Now, she doesn't have a lot of time because she keeps extremely busy, but let me tell you something. She's actually a senior field trainer with this opportunity. Now, I know you might not understand what that means just yet, but as a senior field trainer with this program, she's been able to create an income that's actually creating a revenue of $5,000 in business sales every 30 days. And she's done that on a part-time basis. So she made a decision to join us. And we all know sometimes, it takes a little bit of courage to step into something new, right? Can you agree? And Javier, of course, agreed. And in this case of Cindy, I'll say, now look, she's been passionate about this. She is dedicated to taking this to the top. And one of her focuses is to help bring as many people along with her journey of success alongside. And that could very well be you. Now, Cindy, this is Javier. I see he's a real estate professional. So he has known what it takes when you create something by effort and professionalism. He responded with an inquiry for wanting to create an additional income. And I thought no better story than being able to have you help assist with introducing this information to him. So Javier, this is Cindy. Cindy, this is Javier. So again, if there were some points in there that you all can take away, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat, just so I could see if hopefully that helped you get an idea. Now, of course, this is just an example. And I'm even willing to do one live. Is there anyone that wants to volunteer for us to go ahead and do an edification? If they'd like to offer me 3 things about them that I can go ahead and edify, I would be more than happy to do so. Because a lot of times people think it has to be, the 6-figure income ring earner that you get on a 3-way call. And that's not necessarily the case. As I was saying before, when you can borrow stories of success, you also have to tap into what you're excited about looking forward to. That's with vision, and that's also channeling your energy. Because again, energy won't go anywhere besides where you transfer that. So if you focus on the excitement of what's possible and casting vision, that is your best use of energy and being able to connect those types of relationships. So Angel White, I see you. Thank you so much for that compliment. I do appreciate it. Now, if we have any volunteers, somebody else that they would want me to edify them, or if they want to give 3 examples, go ahead and put a 5 in the chat. If you'd like to volunteer, I would love to be able to unmute you and welcome you onto this example. If you're not being shy today, right? And this is a safe zone, folks. Understanding that within this team, we truly are here to support one another. A lot of times I feel like it's us against the world. And while you are still creating where you're going, making sure you remember why you got started and having the right mindset and posture is going to be key when it comes to that. Because why should anybody even care what your mentor has to say without proper edification and proper introduction, right? So I'm going to share an example from yesterday too. This agent I have Cherie. Awesome. Let me just share this quick story, and then Cherie, I'm gonna go ahead and get you, no problem. So I had this agent who actually got me on a 3-way call yesterday. And just for the sake of consideration, it's not to even talk down or give anything else besides an example and a little bit of a takeaway and a message. Being added onto that 3-way call, I was fortunate that individual, that candidate, that potential prospect is in an industry and a field that I have a great deal of experience with. So for that person, the edification was not there, meaning it was a setting where this individual has a friendship with this candidate. And of course, with their excitement being on bringing this person on board, I got no more than just, hey, this is Myra, this is so-and-so. But because I was able to connect with that person with their background, I asked a few simple questions and I was able to build relatability, right? So I was able to go ahead and and remember and reference where in my career path, we had those things in common. So hopefully I was able to recoup that. But understand there's some leaders and mentors that their training is without proper edification, their cell phone battery will die. Okay, their cell phone battery will die. And the reason is, in order for us to best serve you in those types of phone calls, the edification truly needs to be at a level where this candidate will at least provide not only attention, but have a bit of respect for what that person is going to say. Okay, so keeping that in mind, it's never about building somebody's head, up, or, again, buttering this person up. It's not that. It's with the understanding that their time and level of expertise is something that this potential should truly care about and listen to. So I have Miss Cherie go ahead and volunteer for the edification. Let me know if you can't unmute your line. I'll unmute you. If you cannot, you might be able to. Awesome, Cherie. What's going on, boss lady?
What's up, boss lady? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Blessed Tuesday to you. So for anyone who might have not yet met this boss lady, I'm going to give you an example on how to edify, right? Now, what name? Let's say Mary, just for the sake of simplicity. Mary, listen. This next person I'm going to actually put you on the phone with, I am super excited to make this connection. Now, I was blessed with being able to meet her by way of this opportunity, right? Now, I've seen her grow, I've seen her flourish, but she is a boss mom. She has 5 kids. So there's no excuses on the table. What she's been able to do in a very short amount of time that began as her spare time, but has slowly built up to give her freedom, is reach the level of an executive sales director. As an executive sales director, she has built a home-based business that has given her time freedom and the ability to focus on what matters most for her, at the same time as generating a revenue of anywhere between $50,000 to $99,000 a month in sales. There are brick and mortar businesses that don't do that in a whole year. Okay, I'm not talking about 12 months. I'm talking about month to month. She has been committed and plugged in. She's all about uplifting other individuals. She's strongly encouraging others, giving the example, and truly her success is not only admirable, but I'm listening and paying attention to what she has to do. So listen, Mary, again, I'm excited. She had a few minutes of her time to get on a call with us today. Mary, this is Cherie. Cherie, this is Mary. Now, Mary learned about this. She's open-minded. She got a bit excited when she's heard the information and saw she's a mom as well. And I really felt that the two of you could relate. She's living up north, but her wish is to actually move to Florida. And I know that's similar to your story. So again, Cherie, this is Mary. Mary, this is Cherie.
Look at that, guys. Now understand that the reason Myra is able to do this is because 1, we know each other personally. 2, we go to all the events together. We do not miss events. And 3, we take notes as our leaders are coming on to the trainings with us and taking those notes for the training before the training when it comes to that introduction of that person. So if there's one takeaway I'm gonna give you guys today in the training, we do have a sheet that we can drop in the chat and it says how to edify your expert. And from the very beginning, I was taught to use that. Listen to the presenters coming on, grab their name, grab their title, and grab a few pinpoints about their personality and what their story is, so that could flow just like it did for Myra.
Perfect. Thank you for that contribution. Look at that. I should give the training session to you. I think you got this. I think you got this. No, but in reality, she really pointed out something amazing. And it's that you should be constantly receiving and listening to others' stories. I don't just say these things about individuals' backgrounds, just for the hype. Is the relatability. Because a lot of times you might not know who has had similar experiences that they had to overcome. And then now they're at a higher level, or now they've been able to realize what their personal goals were. And that's how you can serve in helping others on their journey too. And you've heard me say this, I'll say it all the time. I believe what you do in the life of others, God will do for you and yours. And when you think of this opportunity and what it's allowed us all to create in bridging those connections, the most valuable currency is that of the relationships that you build. Now, when you have proper edification, when you're excited about something, people who are not necessarily living in that environment, they'll follow you. They will look to you for that energy. They will actually appreciate how, contrary to their nonchalant, whatever, you know, having the day take over you instead of you take over the day type of people in their circle may be emitting to them, we have that positive energy and mindset here, right? And anytime you need a recharge to that, that's why it's important to stay plugged in and connected. We do have our training tonight as well, as we do each and every Tuesday. And that's also another reason why we're serving the function of the core rank training, because we understand that it can be actually pretty draining until you have that level of personal development, that you own the room that you walk into, that you own the environment, and that someone else saying no is not going to deter you from where you know you made a commitment and decided to say yes to this. We want to constantly pour into that fund of energy, constantly pour into that ability to remember why this is such a big deal. Again, people a lot of times live life with no excitement, or sometimes a lot of traumas, and they look to this as something that can be refreshing in comparison to the day-to-day, you know, monotony, or the day-to-day repeat type lifestyle. And then being mindful of keeping your energy up, because people can sense if you're nervous. Now, it's okay to be transparent as far as not being the expert. I have even encouraged agents when they're first starting out to be completely honest. And when it comes to sharing this information, listen, I want to share this program with you, but I don't want to get it wrong. When can I connect you with the person that's answering my questions? I'm super excited to share it with you, but I don't want to mess this up. I really want to give you the best possible information, so I know I'm doing my part so that you can see what the big deal is, not only for me and my life, but why I'm making such a fuss, okay? So again, that's something to keep in mind too. You can be transparent in where you are right now, and then moving yourself out of the way to allow the expert to go ahead and solidify those types of phone calls, solidify those types of conversations, and take the ownership of moving forward. But, you know, for the sake of another example, I would really love if there's someone that feels like, if we've never had a conversation and they feel brave or bold or courageous enough and well-received enough to volunteer, if you want to go ahead and put a 5, if you're down to tell me 3 things about you so I can give another example of edification. And again, this is not scripted. It's just based on some of those principles. So only, you know, if you and I have never spoken before, I really just want to also give that type of example, because as we serve here, we can actually come across anyone that may say, hey, would you be able to help me with this call? So somebody unmuted their line, but if that's a willing volunteer, is there anyone that wants to go ahead?
Hi, Myra.
Carly, how are you? Blessed
good,
Tuesday, boss lady. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Awesome. I'm doing good. Hey, everybody go ahead and give it up for Carly for stepping up. Out of the 60 plus attendees that are here today, she went ahead and said, it's me, I got this, let's go. So go ahead and put some flames in the chat for shouting out this boss lady getting out of her comfort zone. You know, and I'll confess, I've seen the name when it's been on the charts, but this is the first time we've had a conversation. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So
Saw
again,
you at convention.
Excellent. Yes, yes, that's right. Good for you. So obviously, again, not scripted. I don't know your story, but if you want to go ahead and give me your title and then 3 points about you so that I can edify you as another example.
I am a sales director. I came into this business 2 years ago. I came into this business because I wanted more time freedom with my children. I left my job within 7 months, me being in the business. I was a nurse. So I decided to leave being a nurse and wanted to be home and be with my children and create a future that a lot of individuals are fear to do, to actually
You're giving me
work
too
from
much.
home.
You're giving me too much. You're giving me too much. So you're a mom, you were a nurse, currently a sales director, and you were able to walk away from your job in 7 months, right? Okay. All right. So excellent. Now, again, pay mind. We have a lot of individuals on our team that are in healthcare. And if there's one thing I could tell you about healthcare professionals is a lot of times their service unto others is not only at the extent or expense of the service to themselves and that self-care and self-love. I personally, with a background in healthcare and specifically clinical research, I was able to connect with the idea and concept of having vision. So with vision, I saw that the clinical trials I did today will be something that undergoes studies for anywhere from 25 to even 35 years before a medication could actually have a label to be used for that treatment, whatever the indication is. And that's something that's gonna live forever. So I really had that connection. So again, Carly, and let's say, I don't know, let's go ahead and say Mike. And Mike is a cold market individual. Mike is pretend. I don't know anything much about Mike. Mike just replied back. I got Mike on a Zoom, or he saw a webinar, and now we're doing the follow-up call. And I went ahead and got Carly to do this for me. So, hey, Mike, blessed Tuesday night. Listen, I appreciate being able to speak with you this evening. And I'm glad you were able to check out the overview and the presentation of the program. Now, listen, I'm super excited because I was also able to get one of my business partners on this journey to speak with us tonight. I was able to get her plugged into this call, and listen, she's a big deal. Now, I know you haven't met, but what I can explain is not only has she been doing this business for the last 2 years, her background prior to this was as a nurse. Now she's a mom, and she was able to see this as a way to take control of her schedule. It was the most important for her in life to be able to get that time freedom back, to focus on her children and those that mean the most to her. And just after 7 months, at the level of sales director, she was able to walk away from her job thanks to this opportunity. Now understand, a sales director has created a home-based business that's generating a minimum of $10,000 all the way up to $24,000 a month in revenue in business. Now that's a big deal. And as far as sales directors are concerned, they have the ability on average to create 4-figure checks on a weekly basis, or even repeated throughout the month, but it's all based on effort. Now, listen, as far as being a mom and a background in healthcare, completely changing and coming into this career, you want to listen to how she was able to get this done, because really there's no excuses in my book. So again, Carly, this is Mike. Mike, this is Carly. Now, Mike answered to a response to a post I shared on social media. He's open to making an income opportunity. So he's open to the income opportunity, but he also took the time to attend one of our overviews, and he was excited for us to have this follow-up call. So again, Carly, this is Mike. Mike, this is Carly. So that was not prepared, as I said before. That was completely raw. Thank you, Carly. I appreciate you for stepping up and being willing to be that example. Again, my pleasure, but again, no, thank you, definitely thank you. And as a sales director, man, I'll confess to you all, if you didn't know, at the level of sales director as well, I was able to walk away from my full-time job. And you know, they say average sales directors can make anywhere from, you know, 2,000 even up to 4,000 or more on a monthly basis, but you have total and complete control of that. So really, sales director is a very sweet spot. Of course, we each have our own game plan and our own goals and living expenses, right? But to be able to have that type of support and achieve that in 7 months is huge. That's really, really powerful. So again, congratulations to you on all the success so far. You know, it's inspiring, and it's a reminder as well how we have so many other parents out there that might want to take that control on their time and might want to go ahead and design their life based on their choices and preferences. So also I see here in the comments, Rickster put, he's in the EMS field. So again, just an opportunity or just an example of a profession of service. And, you know, when it comes to that edification, it's exciting. It's a big deal. That person had limited time and they were able to help contribute to that phone call. Now, some people, just by their attitude or mindset or energy, some people are not necessarily the most positive individuals. We run into those negative Nancy's every once in a while. So we know that we have to actually be the moderator to that. We have to be the ones that can give them something to be positive about, if that makes sense. So again, it's uplifting how this individual and you are related and the reason that they need to pay attention to what that person had to say. So, you know, for tonight, I just wanted to focus on those things. Again, be very mindful of your posture, have that confidence. Don't let anyone rob you of that. Remember who you knew you wanted to be before growing up in a world of so many people trying to tell you what you cannot be. And people will also pass judgment, not based on you, but based on their own limiting beliefs. And if they don't think they can do it, if they believe it's not possible for them, you keep your mindset in the right space so you know their limitations do not translate into what you can and cannot do. Because if you buy the lifestyle and if you buy the opinions and decisions of others, you also need to buy their lifestyle. And if you wouldn't trade places with them, then don't trade the mindset either. Listen to your mentors, listen to our coaches, stay plugged in. As I said, we do these core rank trainings Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight being Tuesday, I know we have a Q&A session approaching, but we also have our 10 p.m. Team Relentless training, which I'll be on and plugged in as well for this evening. I hope this reached some of you. If you saw any value in what I was able to share with you today, go ahead and light it up, put some flames in the chat. You know, I'm one of the newer members on the rotation for the core rank training, and I really, really want to have that feedback. So again, this was just having kind of conversations with you because we all started at some point. But I want you to know for a fact, the most important close, the most important enrollment in your entire career when it comes to this opportunity was when you knew that there's another level of you on the other side of making that decision. We have at our hands and at our fingertips the opportunity to create a legacy, $1 million and plus business, and to be able to completely transform not only our life, but what your last name means when people read it in black and white, and have it be that your success will outlive you. So if anyone else is connected and they're with that mindset of wanting to live forever, go ahead and put forever in the chat. But on that note, it is 6:45. I'll be going ahead and ending this just for the sake of time. I see a few people are going to try to live with me forever. And again, thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please make sure you ask questions to whoever is coaching and mentoring you on how you can edify them. And at least having that conversation right before your leader does get on a phone call for you. Focus on about 2 or 3 things just to highlight so that you can master that skill set. It can make or break your phone calls. And again, I love you all. Thank you for allowing me to share this space and energy with you. Stay positive. Be the light that somebody else is praying for. Let's continue to succeed and let's take this to the top. So again, God bless. I'll catch y'all on the next Zoom. And thanks so much for attending, y'all. Peace.
Thank you, Mayra.
That was
You're
so
very welcome.
powerful, Myra. Thank you so very much. Cannot